Imagine a world swallowed by night. The sun dips below the horizon, and life shrinks. The flickering halo of a candle. The hissing glow of a gas lamp. For most of human history, this was the unchangeable reality. Darkness was a barrier, a hard stop to the day's ambitions. It dictated when we worked, when we socialized, when we learned. The night was a vast, unconquered territory. Into this profound and universal darkness, a new kind of light was about to be born. Not from a flame, but from a wire. It was a light that promised to banish the shadows and fundamentally reshape the rhythm of human existence, turning night into an extension of the day. The man who would become synonymous with this transformation was not a classically trained academic or a privileged aristocrat. He was Thomas Alva Edison, a man whose formal education lasted a mere few months. His mind, however, was a relentless engine of curiosity, a place where the question, "What if?" echoed endlessly. To understand Edison's success, you must first understand the place where it was forged: Menlo Park, New Jersey. This was not merely a laboratory, it was something entirely new, an invention factory. Edison assembled a team of brilliant minds, machinists, chemists, mathematicians, craftsmen, and created an environment dedicated to systematic innovation. It was a place where ideas could be conceived, prototyped, tested, and refined at an unprecedented speed. The air itself hummed with collaborative energy, a shared mission to push the boundaries of what was possible. It was the precursor to the modern research and development lab. Edison himself was the heart of this machine. He was not a distant manager, but a constant driving presence, often working for days on end with little sleep, fueled by sheer determination and catnaps on a laboratory bench. His famous notebooks were the lifeblood of the operation. Sketches, observations, data. Every experiment, successful or not, was meticulously documented. He and his team, his muckers, were pioneers charting a new map of discovery, one small, deliberate step at a time. The invention factory was built on a culture of productive failure. The central challenge of the light bulb was the filament, the tiny thread inside the glass bulb that would glow when electricity passed through it. It had to be the perfect material. It needed to glow brightly without melting. It needed to be durable enough to last for hundreds of hours. It needed to be affordable enough for mass production. This single component became the subject of one of the most legendary quests. Edison and his team began a great exhaustive search, a process of elimination on an epic scale, testing anything and everything they could think of. They started with platinum. Other expensive metals followed, but these were too costly and melted at temperatures that were too low for a practical light. They moved on to carbon, a more promising candidate. So began a seemingly endless series of trials. They tried carbonized fibers from every plant they could find: jute, palm, hickory, even the hairs from a colleague's beard. Each material was carefully prepared, shaped into a delicate filament, placed in a glass bulb, subjected to the electric current. Most would burn out in an instant, a brief, disappointing flash. This is where the famous number comes from: the 1,000 failures, or sometimes 10,000 ways that won't work. The exact figure is less important than the principle it represents. For over a year, the laboratory was a theater of repetitive failure. Imagine the scene. Day after day, week after week, another filament is sealed in a bulb. The breakthrough finally came in October 1879. The team tested a filament made from a simple piece of carbonized cotton sewing thread. It was incredibly delicate, and it took hours of painstaking effort to place it inside the bulb. But when the switch was flipped, it didn't flash and die. It glowed. It produced a soft, warm, steady light. They watched it, mesmerized, as it burned for 1 hour, then 2, then 10. It lasted for over 13 hours. They had found it. This was the moment of victory, the culmination of all that work. They had created the first practical, long-lasting incandescent light bulb. But for Edison, inventing the bulb was only the first step. A light bulb is useless without a socket to screw it into, a switch to turn it on, and a power source to make it glow. This reveals the true scope of his genius. He wasn't just an inventor, he was a system builder. He understood that to replace the gaslight industry, he had to create an entire electrical ecosystem from scratch. He needed to invent everything: generators, which he called dynamos, voltage regulators, wiring. So, what can we learn from this story of darkness and light? The first and most obvious lesson is the profound power of persistence. Edison's journey was not a straight line to success, but a winding, difficult road filled with obstacles and setbacks. He faced public ridicule, financial pressure, sheer frustration of repeated failure. What set him apart was his refusal to be discouraged. He possessed a relentless, stubborn optimism that allowed him to view every no as a not yet. In a world that craves instant results, his story is a powerful reminder that the most meaningful achievements often require an immense and unglamorous volume of work. The second lesson is the importance of reframing failure. Edison didn't see his thousands of unsuccessful experiments as a waste. He saw them as the accumulation of knowledge. He was an informational scavenger extracting value from every outcome. This mindset is transformative. It turns mistakes from something to be feared into something to be sought out.